He's a heavy-handed harasser of boxing rivals.
The fold from his power. Oh my! There is a lethal left uppercut.
A calculated southpaw who finds his range, lets his hands go, and removes opponents from their senses.
Is this the future of boxing? Absolutely.
Raised on the streets,
I'ma break your jaw, I promise you. Don't even bring your mother or your daughter. Don't bring them.
polished in the ring.
You can't fight the power of Gervonta "Tank" Davis.
A fierce fighting spirit ingrained with a need to survive. We ask, who is Gervonta "Tank" Davis? Born in 1994, Davis's original battle has remained throughout his life. Fighting against the streets he was raised on, hoping to win a war that has swallowed up many before him. Raised by his father Garvonta Davis and mother Kenya Brown, early family life was disrupted by addiction problems and prison spells.
My mother left me and my brother in the house by herself.
As young Gervonta moved from one foster home to another, his family unit merely swapped the streets for a cell. But Gervonta knew there was more to life than this, and he was determined to find it. Making sacrifices, choosing ring life over thug life, while his friends crossed between the straight and narrow, Davis possessed two lethal weapons that enabled him to box his way out of the hood. Realising quickly that hard drugs and gangland feuds were not conducive to a successful boxing career, raised in the tower blocks and low-rise backdrop as seen on the television series The Wire, Davis lived out that fictional drama in real life. Beginning at the Upton Park Boxing Gym in Baltimore at the behest of his uncles, Davis refrained from carrying out his own brand of youth justice in the district. His nimble movements mixed with a ferocious punch caught the eye of Calvin Ford, a former high-level hustler turned high-quality boxing trainer. From novice to senior, amateur to pro, their reputations would grow together.
His uncle bought him in, little kid, running around bad as all outdoors. But he had it was something special about him. He was always that kid that you want to hear his name into something, you know?
Ford imparted his experience and wisdom. Gervonta listened and carried out his mentor's instructions. It would become the perfect double act. Travelling around the country and fighting in tournaments showed Davis a life outside of Baltimore. Competing against other youngsters as soon as he hit double digits, Davis swept through the junior Olympic tournaments, silver gloves and police league events. Every bitter defeat or setback making him stronger and more determined to succeed. At just 17, Davis failed to meet the age criteria for the 2012 Olympics in London. Ford implored him to stay amateur and win national titles. The man they would eventually call Tank, bizarrely due to his head size and not his potent punching power, obliged and followed Ford's counsel. Amateur career checked off, education completed, Davis turned professional in 2013. The next chapter was officially open. Smashing aside a variety of contenders and pretenders, Davis slid into double figures with a growing reputation for introducing fighters first to the canvas and then out of the exit door, some never returning to the profession again. Former world-class operator Cristobal Cruz had seen better days when Davis removed him in 3. Away from the ropes, Tank made his goal clear. An Upton boxer winning a world championship would provide the neighbourhood youth with a roadmap off the streets. Undefeated IBF super featherweight champion Jose Pedraza was the perfect test to check on Davis's credentials. Smashing the sniper in 7 before travelling to England for his first offence were back-to-back resume fillers.
Is this the future of boxing? Absolutely.
Another unbeaten talent, Britain's Liam Walsh, felt the power in 3 rounds on Davis's UK debut. Broadcast on Showtime, the relatively high viewing figures back home showed that Davis was becoming a draw. A 2017 slot on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather vs Conor McGregor would provide a perfect next step to stardom. That was until Davis missed weight against Francisco Fonseca, losing his belt in the process. He then proceeded to offer a lackluster showing that, at times, bordered on petulant. Pushing away suggestions that the final blow delivered to the formerly unbeaten Fonseca was illegal, Davis mocked his fallen foe and returned backstage to count his cash undeterred. A 3rd round stoppage of Jesus Cuellar in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn saw Davis jump straight back on the world title train by winning the WBA Super Featherweight Championship. Landing an excessive amount of power punches on Cuellar, the man now working full-time with Floyd Mayweather was following in the footsteps of his master.
Line them up,
and we'll keep knocking them down.
However, while Floyd outboxed, outfoxed and deconstructed his foes, Davis just blasted them into oblivion. Replacement opponent Hugo Ruiz perhaps wished he'd stayed at home before being decoded in one round. Ricardo Nunes fared slightly better, lasting into the second, while 12,000 fans packed into a Baltimore arena witnessed the latter. Davis was fast becoming a bespoke PBC attraction.
This is a pay-per-view star.
Dropped numerous times, former unified world king Yuriorkis Gamboa meandered into the 12th round before he was eventually stopped.
And this one is over!
Accommodating Gervonta on his Showtime pay-per-view debut, Leo Santa Cruz lasted half that time. El Terremoto was doing well in spurts before Davis stunned the crowd with an uppercut so devastatingly brutal it turned Santa Cruz's lights out and was voted Knockout of the Year for 2020. While that KO may have come out of the blue for Santa Cruz, Davis was about to show just how far his mind-bending power would stretch. Travelling up to 140 pounds to lay an increasingly one-sided beating on the significantly larger Mario Barrios was a power move.
He believe in it now. He know it now.
Attempting to accommodate the verbose Rolando Romero in late 2021, the bout was shelved temporarily and Gervonta was handed one of his most difficult assignments to date. Fighting somebody shorter was always going to be a peculiar mission, and minuscule pocket rocket Isaac Pitbull Cruz made a repeated nuisance of himself, taking Davis the full 12 rounds for the first time in his career. Davis was, however, back on the knockout train in May 2022 as Rolando Romero's legal issues had dissolved.
You guys gonna see the semi-final? I'm gonna knock this dwarf the fuck out. That's how it is. You hear that? You know how it is.
It's cool to shoot them bullets. How you gonna defend yourself when them bullets coming back? That's my say.
The man known as Rolly was ready to resume his boxing career and unassumingly offered himself up as a sacrifice.
It's over! That's it!
With inactivity starting to bite, legal concerns mounting up, and Floyd Mayweather's involvement becoming increasingly unsettling, Davis enjoyed a quick turnaround in early 2023. A pair of Garcias, each arriving from different ends of the publicity spectrum, provided the respective opposition. First, boxing through a crowd disturbance to get his job done in round 8 against Hector Luis Garcia, that literal rewiring of the android, a 16-0 Dominican danger man, perfectly set up the pay-per-view explosion against 23-0 Ryan Garcia.
Trust me, you don't want to get into this morality conversation because it's going to hit you in the face just like this left hook. Calm your ass down real quick.
Bernard, Oscar, and Joe Goose are going to have to pick him up, and I promise you that.
When he is knocked out cold, face first, I am going to pray for him.
I'm going to break your jaw, I promise you. Don't even bring your mother or your daughter. Don't bring them, I'm telling you.
It was a boxing match, not a popularity contest, as Davis dropped his peer in round 2 and anatomized Ryan's body in round 7
Oh, Garcia forced to take a knee!
to chalk off a rival and move on to potential future showdown.
I'm definitely face of boxing. Absolutely.
Names mentioned included the likes of Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, or Devin Haney, who embarked on his own fistic soap opera with Ryan Garcia the following year. Garcia beat Haney, but ended up in PED hot water when he tested positive for an illegal substance. While no such fate has ever befallen Gervonta, he has maintained an ongoing dance with law enforcement throughout his career. From a gym altercation with a childhood friend to shopping mall brawls, arguments and spats behind closed doors, exploding aircraft, or acts of impromptu violence in stark public view, legal troubles have followed Davis around like an unsatisfied spectre. A 2020 vehicle collision was his most damning act yet. The traffic violations added up for Davis and made for horrible public viewing. Community service and house arrest terms are comparatively mild results, given the transgressions of a man who needs to stay on the straight and narrow to realise his dreams.
You know, I've been off for a long time. I done been in jail. I done been on a house arrest and things like that. I'm just happy to be back.
The next stop on the path of dreams is a June 15th ring return against Frank Martin.
The ones that roll with him, look at his eyes. Look how he are.
Look at him.
He's not that. He's not that.
Yeah, all right.
He's not.
You ain't been in on
I'ma
nobody
show
like
y'all.
this. You ain't been in on nobody like this.
June the 15th, how does it end?
Ass whooping on site.
Exercising the ghost inside the ring will help him focus on defeating demons outside of the squared circle. Turning to Islam in his search for clarity and solace, Gervonta says that he now enjoys a healthy relationship with his mother now that he's an adult and that she's turned her life around. In an early career interview, Gervonta explained that when he received his first paycheck, he used the funds to extricate his mother from a violent neighborhood. His ability to stay in line is no small part due to the influence of Calvin Ford, the hustler turned healer.
What he been through and where he at, it takes a lot of balls to withstand all the stuff that he went through to be where he at now.
Where do you think you'd be if you never met Coach Calvin?
I don't want to say nothing crazy, but I definitely want to be here.
Educated beneath the skin, wise to the trappings of success and pitfalls of fame, the heavily tattooed Tank, known in some quarters as Abdul Wahid, is eager to settle his beef solely inside the ring. When trouble follows you around, that isn't an easy mission. Raised in the streets, having ascended past a world of crime, a world that continues to try and drag him back in. Staying in shape, remaining focused and knocking people out is the name of the game for a man who just wants a better life for himself, his family, and his future. That is who Gervonta Tank Davis really is.
He got a furrow on his 80 degrees. Like, it's crazy.
All he's relying on is a weak-ass hook. That's it.
He's a chump. I'm going to show him he a chump December the 5th. I ain't come to play. I ain't come to talk.
It's Gervonta Tank Davis versus Rolando Rolly Romero.